It's just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome to the first This Week at X of 2024. There wasn't one last week because I didn't need to make one, to be honest. There was plenty of subjects to talk about and YouTube drama is clearly better for my channel. We're going to start by talking about Boogie, who started the year fairly strong by tweeting, "The Jeffrey Epstein list," that got me demonetized, "should be treated as a executioner's itinerary."
Ooh, edgy boil out.
Leonard Skinnard had replied, "Boogie, I thought 2024 was going to be different. I visit your page and see this negativity. What happened?" Boogie replied, "I found my backbone and realized how fun it is to make fun of idiots." Nitro replied to Boogie by saying, "You and Wing should really change the name of your podcast to PDF File Live." Boogie replies, "No matter how many times you falsely call me or others PDF files, it will never change the fact that women can't stand you and you will unalive alone. Don't you just love the effort I have to go through to even get this through YouTube in the first place? It's like YouTube is also nanny state enthusiast. They do like to claim they're like free speech." Now with Boogie, he goes through mood swings. You can't deny it, it's very much the case. He wakes up in a bad mood, he's in a bad mood all day. One thing goes wrong, his whole day is ruined. It's hilarious really. Starting the year about the Epstein list, quite interesting, and of course over a couple of days indicated how willing he is now to care less about what people think. I think he cares a lot about what they think because he knows by doing this more people are going to be paying attention to him, playing the game and the optics, knowing others will then go to, for example, the Lolcow Live podcast and give it some time and attention, which is the right move. They might even go to his channel and watch his content as well, which he needs. And by the way, that podcast isn't doing badly, to be honest. The channel is still growing steadily. The views better than I could ever get. As long as they maintain it and are more consistent, they'll continue to excel, and that's what they should do and what they should want. While I can't play the audio of it, I am on the screen going to have this video loop because it tickled me a little bit. It's Madonna dancing, I think. It looks very 1980s, but also like a nan in the 1980s wearing a very long, thin, blonde wig. I'm not going to judge. There are many who like to push against what is considered a societal norm. Madonna is trying to bring back the 80s. Nothing wrong with that, except for mullets. If you have one, you need to get a haircut. And yes, I'm judging you. Ollie Londoner tweeted this with 65-year-old Madonna has to use a bar to dance on stage to prop herself up as she performs a dance routine. To be honest, it looked like the early morning stuff I saw with Mr. Motivator on what was once called GMTV. Readers added context though. The platform was moving, she was holding the pole for her safety, which is a reasonable thing to do and I'm glad there is context. Cog, how had Madonna, I assume that means has, not made enough money to retire yet? I can answer this, Cog, because she adopted all the children in Africa, or tried to, but it turns out there's still arguments about one of the children she had adopted years ago. And she has been trying to alter her appearance to be more hip with those that she has adopted, whilst also making them look like absolute tools at the best of times. I'll judge for that, because bad parenting should be called out for what it is. Have you seen enough of this video now? Can we get rid of it? Let's get rid of it and move on to the manliest of manly men, who has to tell us and his friends that he is the manliest of manly men, and it has led to quite the discussion.
I was just very much confused.
I was confused too. Cassidy educated me and said, no, honey, you're straight. Don't you look at me like a woman? I said, yeah. She's like, so where do you find the word gay? And that's when I realized, yeah, I'm not gay at all. I'm an alpha male that's attracted to femininity, and that's exactly what I got right here.
And Wokeness had tweeted, "Man dating a trans woman justifies himself to his best friend," with a quote from the video I just played. Sugar Tits retweeted this with, "I'm an alpha male attracted to femininity," and cock and balls. Alex Rosen, "Damn bro, that's an alpha male right there, ... An image included is from the Daily Mail, with an article titled, "I'm an alpha male dating a transgender woman. People say our love is wrong, but I will never stop fighting for us." Man in the video is Jesse Schwanker. He stumbled across Cassidy Corley while on Instagram and became smitten with the content creator. They met a week later and they just carried on. This has started a very lengthy debate about whether or not Jesse is gay. I am not going to, for the sake of this video, offer an opinion on that, merely present the information as it is seen. The line is quite Divisive? In the same sense of whether or not John Cena was a good wrestler. Jesse believes that there is not one word or one sentence that anyone could possibly put together that would actually hurt Jesse or Jesse's girlfriend, and that all of the negative comments are the reason that they are such a strong couple today. He embraces who he dates, and no one can take away from him or her. Take that away from him or her. Quote, I let the bad words and unalive threats just sit on my shoulder, and then I wipe them off as I continue to walk the righteous path of a rare man holding my lady's hand through any storm. We didn't share our story for likes or views. It was to break barriers and be the voice of men who, like myself, get looked down upon for dating a trans woman. I was simply looking for acceptance and someone who would stick by my side through any life changes. For the sake of it, I believe Blair White was doing this before you, just saying. Additionally, it is a cliche that somebody who you meet through Instagram also happens to have an OnlyFans. If you're bored and want to Google that, go nuts, because it turns out people don't care about copyright, and your defensiveness about your sexuality might be considered to many to be misplaced and will not help the situation in the slightest.
Okay, guys, I think I have a new one. Tell me about a time that you or somebody you know, like you know this story personally. Tell me about a time that you or somebody you know, either separately or together or neither of you, were actually involved or not. Like think, and it could be an instance too. So tell me about a time or an instance or even a place that you and this person that you know this person, so this isn't a random person. Tell me about a time or a place or an instance that you or this person, either separately or together, could be either one, maybe none of you honestly were involved in this or not involved, but tell me about a time that you or this other person or none of you or all of you, or an instance or a place or a thing, could be a thing too. Tell me about a time that you...
That video is being shared to Twitter by a number of people, and I'm going to make a response very brief. If you are a TikToker that makes videos on the right side where you saw someone try and ask a question but not actually complete the question, you need a soothing medicament, something to help calm your mind. If you're a chemistry buff, I highly recommend something called HCN. It's great at ensuring the mind slows down permanently. You only need one, and it resolves all the problems. I like to call them Skittles. So next, I saw Stanley mugs trending on Twitter. I saw people tweet about it, and I thought this was absolutely beyond cringe. So we'll go to a tweet and a video and a response. Live for a Tumblr. Y'all got to be joking, do you not have jobs? Included is a TikTok video from Who's Lulu Girl _2, because they wanted this Stanley mug so damn much. By the way, some people have collections of this crap.
I told her, I'm like,
yeah, I know, we're crazy. Don't judge us.
No.
They're probably like, this fool's outside waiting.
but it doesn't look like that many though.
It's like at least
30 to 40, like they said.
30.
It's so cute.
All the way back.
What?
Yeah.
But you can't even hear the music. Go.
Single file. We got this. We got this.
Mom, you got two? If you're getting one. I just want a video. This is funny.
And Anne with an E, how you doing? Retweeted with, it's a mug, I don't get it. And I don't either. Someone did on my Twitch chat, when I stream gaming stuff there every single day, except for Sunday, said to me that these things are pretty damn good. But for myself, when it comes to a beverage, I treat it as a function, not as something to serve me all day. I use it, and then it gets washed and reused if I need it. Otherwise, I will drink bottled water, because tap water and filtered water in this country is a joke, and I don't drink much in the way of hot beverages because why bother? And whiskey goes in a glass, sometimes with a stone or a bullet from the freezer, never with ice. I don't really get the fad with Stanley Cups, but I saw a lot of people tweeting out collections of them, and I wished I'd saved them just so I can show some people, you are the some people, yes, all this unnecessary hoarding of mugs. You only need one. Like, if you need a Stanley mug, surely you only need one, right? Not one for every day of the week, every day of the month, every day of the year. One for individual months to be holiday based, of course, and anniversary based, birthday based. Oh god, the frin. We're going to completely segue away from this to something I do like, and that is Warhammer 40,000, Games Workshop as a whole. Sargon of Akkad tweeted, "The reason there shouldn't be female Space Marines is because the Space Marines are representation for men and not women, but men aren't allowed to have their own space." This was retweeted by Draco of Scotland. "You and Arch can both F off. Uncle Bunkle, we don't need female Space Marines. We know you're terrified of women." Moondragon retweeted, "Can you please stop this cringe virtue signaling for woman? The Space Marines are male and should stay that way. Sincerely, a woman." In canon, it was laughed at during the heresy. Malkadorn the Emperor had in fact briefly discussed the idea of having a female Primarch, but realized for the purposes that they needed, which was war and the intention of them killing themselves in a civil war of their own, leaving humanity to rule the galaxy free and peacefully, they did not need female Space Marines that would have been weaker than male Space Marines. The same can be said for the Primarch. What would the point of a female Primarch be in the context of war? The reproductive organs would be redundant, as would any other differences. In the context of war, they needed men because of the biological advantages biological men have. Well, biological boys that were then put through a rather intense process to become an Astarte. Stop trying to make something inclusive when there already are options available. Really good ones, by the way. Additionally, if they did make female Space Marines, I can promise you the following will happen. They'll have to give them suitable armor, and that suitable armor will have contours and curves. You will then complain you're being sexualized, or that women are being sexualized under the guise of good virtue signal and now let me touch booba. To finish, let's go with something very, very English. Hi, James Blunt. I went for a stroll in rural Herefordshire and saw this. Thought it was quite a nice museum experience. It's an old telephone box. Lots of them have been, over the years, amended, altered, changed, adapted to become a makeshift library. There's one not so far from where I live. You can borrow books from it and you can even deposit books into it. Others can borrow and put them back themselves. It's quite a neat, nifty idea. This one though is called the James Blunt Museum and in fact includes pictures and stories of James Blunt's life. James Blunt, because he's an absolute G on Twitter, retweeted Craig by saying, "Completely forgot to announce the opening of this fantastic cultural experience in glorious Herefordshire. Free entry for both my fans." If you've ever seen James Blunt on Twitter, he gets a lot of flack still for a lot of the songs he's done. Man's made his money and he's very successful, and he laughs it all off, which is awesome. The BBC though decided to run with this as an article. James Blunt praises Phone Box Museum in his honour, and in keeping with James Blunt, he retweeted with "Slowest news day ever." You should follow him, he is very funny. I know this was a slower video and later, my apologies for that. I had a funeral yesterday and that was vastly more important. Have a lovely weekend. There is a whiskey stream, if you're interested, on the Moist Ski Live channel. I'll link it in the pinned comment as the only source there. Do swing by, it's entirely Jameson's based. My friend Dave and I are going to have a great time. Hope to see you there.